everyone, it's Michelle Powell with Some Like It Organized. Today I'm with Stephan Goldsmith from iAccounting Solutions, and he's going to tell us things we need to know about taxes and documents, anything paper related in the home office or your filing cabinet.
Thanks for having me, Michelle.
Yay! So first off, tell us about the documents that we need to keep that everyone always asks and wonders about as far as taxes or any personal items that they need to just keep for the IRS or whatnot.
Sure. Generally, a rule of thumb, you should keep at least 3 years back, right? So if you're filing a 2012 tax return, keep records back till about 2009. And that's a general rule of thumb for any records for personal taxes. When it comes to business taxes, it's a good rule of thumb to keep a digital copy forever. So anything from, if you're looking at personal taxes, that would be copies of your W-2s, 1099s, any kind of mortgage interest statements, charitable contribution statements, anything that you use to prepare your tax return, you're going to want to keep. Because what we're going to talk about today is substantiation, and that's basically proving what's on your tax return. So if an IRS ever wants to come and look at what you have, and that's usually called an audit or an examination,
right,
they're going to want to see probably certain things. And as long as you have quote unquote substantiation or something to back up your number, then that's going to suffice the IRS.
3 years. Okay, so yep. Not the usual 7, because that's what I hear is 7 years or 6 years or something.
Well, the IRS has different rules for different types of documents, but a general rule of thumb for personal taxes and personal tax returns, keep that for at least 3 years. And like I said before, if you're storing all this on your hard drive or in PDFs or digitally, just keep it forever. I mean, it's not going to cost you anything to store it. So if you're running a business or you have payroll records and you have a business and you have a staff with been paying wages or running a payroll, keep those records indefinitely. Sometimes I've seen the IRS come after businesses even after the statute of limitations has run out, and they can go back and reopen cases. I've seen them reopen after 20 years, right? So, I mean, mind you, that doesn't happen too often, but it's my rule of thumb to be better safe than sorry. So keep those records, keep payroll records for your business indefinitely, keep any kind of business tax returns indefinitely. As long as and even if you close the business, still keep them around, because the IRS could still come after those tax returns and want to see what happened.
Thank you for clarifying that. So for personal use, what precautions need to be taken to keep track of, you know, the expenses of the home and the what's coming in and what's going out? Anything that you have to say
Sure.
about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of tools out there that can help you with your finances or keeping track of stuff. You know, we like to use, and it's a little different when you're talking about personal taxes compared to business taxes, right? Most people who have businesses, they have accounting software. You know, we like to use one called Xero, that's spelled with Xero, and it works really well for keeping track of your business finances. But on the personal side, there's also other softwares, and this is some of the tools you can use. If you don't want to use like a personal finance software, like maybe Mint.com, or you're looking at some other major players out there, you know, you can just keep a file. I mean, you don't have to use fancy software. You know, we like to use everything digital. We like to use the tools that we have. So any kind of, if we have a computer or an iPad or an iPhone or any kind of tablet or smartphone, you know, use that to your advantage, right? You can keep track of anything you need pretty much on all those devices. There's no reason to keep paper around if you don't have to. But if you're one of those types of people who just likes to keep paper around, that's fine. That's up to you. You can definitely do it that way too.
Then do you have any recommended apps for, you know, digital record keeping?
Sure. You know, on the business side, like I mentioned, Xero's a great one. If you're keeping track of mileage for your business, there's a great app called Expensify that we like to recommend to our clients. There's apps on all platforms. That's Apple or Android, and you can access it via the web.
Then what advice would you give someone that is being audited?
First rule of thumb is don't panic. It's usually not as serious as you think it is. Most often, examinations or audits is what they're called too. Is they're just looking at certain things on your tax return. Maybe something is abnormal, maybe there's lots of different triggers. So just read the documentation they give you. If you feel overwhelmed or if you don't know what to do, then that's when you go talk to a professional.
And I'm going to switch up the question a little bit. What if you don't have appropriate documentation to back up the audit and you get audited?
Well, again, you answer the best you can, and if you don't have documentation, provide an explanation. IRS auditors are real people, and they do have leeway on what they can and cannot accept and what they will and will not accept. Worst case scenario is they disallow it, and basically that means you'll probably owe some more tax. But it's not the end of the world. They send you a tax bill and you owe more tax. I mean, no one wants to pay more tax, but they're not going to throw you in jail.
What are some of your suggested best practices for keeping a healthy accounting life for the average person?
Sure, and this is a hard thing, right? I mean, no one likes to look at finances and numbers. It's people would rather go to the dentist and get root canals, right? So, I mean, but it's very important that you do this every so often. So my first rule of advice is to have a schedule. So, and put it on your calendar. Whether it's the first Saturday of each month or whatever, pick a day, designated day and time, sit down with your spouse, or if it's just you, and go over your finances. Look at what you have. Look at your cash, your checking account, your savings account. Look at any credit cards you may owe on, or any kind of car loans or mortgages, and just see what you have. And then try to stick to a budget. When you're doing that, you can categorize certain things. Certain things are fixed costs, like utilities. You're always going to pay those, and you have to pay them. But certain things like eating out, you can control that, right? So maybe one month you spent $200 on eating out instead of $100. And it's good to know. It's good to know that. So knowledge is power in this game. And a lot of people I've seen who get into financial trouble have no idea what's going on in their financial life, and it's as easy as just making time once a month. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be an accountant or a finance person. You can be whoever. Just look at it and know what's going on. And if you need help, then you can reach out to someone who can help you.
Perfect. And speaking of that, how can people find you and work with you?
Right. We are a full-service accounting firm. We help everyone. We help small business primarily, but we also help individuals with their taxes and tax issues and problems. The easiest way to find us is on our website at www.iaccountingsolutions.com. And from there, you can either shoot us an email, you can just call, and you can follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google+, all the big sites.
Perfect. Do you take on clients from all over the country?
We do. We're located in Southern California, but we have clients in Washington State, Perfect. North Carolina, New York State, state of Florida. Our model is we heavy leverage technology. So, whether it's sitting across the desk shaking your hand, but oftentimes we're doing calls like this. Mm-hmm. We're video conferencing and we're exchanging documents through secure client portals, or we're emailing. So often we found that works just as good as you dropping your paperwork off at an office. So if that's something that you're comfortable with, then that's how we work, and that's how we like to work.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here and answering those questions. I think a lot of people really need the answer to. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yay.